From Philippe Damm from Human Rights Watch.
Thank you for having invited us to this panel, and again, sorry for having replied late to the invitation. I want to make a few points on the human rights situation of Rohingyas. Of course, as you all know, over the past 15 months, the international community has been documenting that probably as many as 88,000 people have been traveled from Bangladesh and Burma in boats to Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. There are also other accounts. Many of them are in fact Rohingya Muslims who are fleeing persecutions in Burma, even though we also documented some small number of Bangladeshi nationals. We also found that the camps, which are used as holding facilities and where victims are detained, extorted, abused, and we also found mass graves in recent weeks in both sides of the border in Thailand and Malaysia. Such as the NGO of Mr. Musa, we also documented a number of very detailed accounts coming from Rohingya and other survivors of the dangerous boat trips from Burma and Bangladesh. And they all described to us the horrific treatments by smugglers and traffickers in Burma and the abuse they faced during the trips on boats. They also very much explained to us how they endured weeks at sea with boats of sometimes often more than 100 people carrying men, women, and abandoning passengers at dislocated locations along the coast. I want to also stress that the current situation of boat people has stopped very recently, not because of international action and solution, but because simply the monsoon season is making the trip impossible, and because of news that the interdiction of these boats in Burma, Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia. So the situation has momentarily stopped, but there is still no solution. Quite clearly, we call on the members of this Human Rights Council to exert pressure on the government of Burma as being the main source of the problem. We are concerned by the statements made by Burmese officials basically denying their responsibilities for the situation of Rohingya. More recently, the spokesperson of the President's office stated in May that we will not accept the allegation made by some governments that Burma is the source of the problem. We should in fact continue to keep Burmese officials to end the repressive measures and the denial of basic rights that have driven Rohingya to flee their native Arakan states for many years. We should, as it was said before, pressure Burma to admit that the Rohingya should be considered as full citizens of Burma, whose rights must be respected. The national government's denial of the status of the Rohingya only makes any solution harder to formulate. We often flagged that Burma should amend the 1982 Citizenship Act and get away from any discriminatory restrictions on the right of movement, livelihood, property, etc. The decision on April 1st to rescind the temporary ID count of the white cards that were the last form of official government identification extended to the Rohingya is of course a source of a lot of concern, and the consequences that the Rohingya have been stripped of their voting rights for the upcoming elections, and that is something that all governments, members of the Human Rights Council, have to hammer down very seriously to be rescinded. In October 2012, the Rohingya were subjected to attacks across Arakan states, and Human Rights Watch had then called for an international investigation to look at ethnic cleansing and crimes against humanity. So far, the government had held no one accountable for the violence which destroyed thousands of homes and caused massive displacements. And this is still something which is unanswered by the international community. I also want to flag that members of the Human Rights Council should also exert pressure on Bangladesh to stop the pushback policy and to end also the persecution of Rohingya. Very briefly, we are also concerned that many UN officials have recently, in fact, been disturbing the UN engagement to protect the Rohingya populations by using often weak and misleading statements. More recently, a number of top UN officials have even refrained from using the word Rohingya to identify the group, which is a great disservice to the protection of the human rights, as the UN is often invoking the rights up front doctrine to lead its human rights policy, not recognizing the suffering and even the name of a group is something of great concern. The Rohingyas are one of the most vulnerable and repressed group which does deserve the attention of the Human Rights Council. And we urge the members of the Human Rights Council to follow up on the many recommendations in this regard by the Special Rapporteur on the human rights situation in Burma, by the recent statements by the High Commissioner for Human Rights, in fact at the opening of this session, who said that the Human Rights Council must probe more deeply into the nature and the scope of these violations and see how we might effectively address them. And I think this is really a call that we need to take up as a priority, given not only the recent situation in the Andaman Sea, but also the long-standing persecution that they have been suffering in the country in total impunity. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Are there any questions, comments from the audience?